A few days ago, I learned about a frustrated new Toyota Tundra owner who says his 2024 Tundra has a blown engine at 7,000 miles and asks if he should fight for a replacement of the truck versus the replacement of the engine. Here is what happened, and I would like to ask your opinion for this development. Imagine this. You just bought a brand new 2024 Toyota Tundra truck and are excited to enjoy it for years to come. Then at mere 7,000 miles, the engine lets out a spectacular cough and dies. That's the gut-wrenching scenario facing one truck driver who posted his story on 2022 Plus Toyota Tundra owners on Facebook group seeking advice from the fellow Tundra owners. This Tundra truck owner and the local Toyota dealerships are now navigating the world of warranties, repairs, and the agonizing question, will my truck ever be the same? Please join this conversation as we explore the owner's experience, offering advice and support for anyone who's ever faced a major car malfunction. So what do you think he should do in this case? Here is what he wrote. He said, thought I was safe buying a 2024 Tundra truck, but I was not. Pretty certain the engine blew at a little over 7,000 miles. I had it towed to the dealership who said they will be disassembling the engine over the next few days to determine what happened. They said it should be under warranty. It better. But they will need to open a case with Toyota and have them approve it. Has anyone attempted to Toyota replace a truck with a blown engine? Not the engine, not to replace the engine, but give you a brand new truck. I was planning on having this truck for 10-15 years. Have a feeling the truck will never be the same after they completely replace the engine. Trying to decide if I want to immediately push the idea that I need a new truck or see how the repair plays out. This is what a user named CW posted in a Tundra truck owners group asking for advice. The conversation had already generated 282 comments and advices by the time I saw it. What would you tell this person? Should he pursue for a new truck or just be satisfied to get a new engine? I believe in order to replace a brand new vehicle, you have to see if it qualifies for the lemon law in your state. So I would say check your state's lemon laws. Car manufacturers are generally hesitant to do any sort of buybacks unless lemon law requirements are met, which can be very difficult to meet depending on the state you are in. CW says he did check the lemon laws of his state and it's 30 days in the shop for the same issue in the first 2 years or an unsuccessful attempt to repair the same issue 3 times. I think it'll be tough for them to replace it in 30 days, so there may be a chance there, he says. On the other hand, as one other commenter notes it, we are not sure why it wouldn't be a warranty issue. Technically, the first oil change isn't due until 10,000 miles, so it's not going to be a maintenance issue. Engine or transmission replacement or brake failures typically are covered under lemon laws. I'm on my 4th Tundra, he says, but in my opinion, you need to pursue the lemon law. You should have received a paper when you bought the truck. The truck won't retain its value when someone reads engine replacement on a Carfax, write user's name, same Haley. Indeed, if you are buying a truck and you see on Carfax it has an engine failure or engine replacement, would you buy it? Another option would be to sell the truck back to Toyota. These types of engine failures are rare, but they do happen. A group member who claims to be an engine expert thinks Toyota isn't going to give a new truck in this case. What about you? He says, the idea that the truck will never be the same is an inaccurate one. He says, we do engine jobs all the time and the customers keep the vehicle near forever after that due to the investment. We actually put a used engine in 4Runner years ago for a customer, then bought the 4Runner after it was totaled, then pulled the engine, supercharged it, and put it a 4Runner owned by a family member of our owner. That engine is in its 3rd 4Runner in its life and tows a boat every weekend while being force-fed, he wrote. Ryan Johnson, a user in the group discussion, writes, I talked to an engineer for Honda today. He's been an engineer in the automotive industry for 30 years. He said this is literally happening in every single auto manufacturer out there, including Honda. there are many avenues that can be pursued in this case. But besides looking at the lemon laws and possibly selling the Tundra truck back to Toyota, I think I would request Toyota to install a crate engine with all new components, not try and reuse the heads, turbos, and all of the things they don't normally replace. So what do you think in this case, Fraser? What would you do? What would you advise, or what your advice would be for these owners? In that group and in several Tundra groups, I read a lot of kind of complaints about the 2022 Toyota Tundras. If you're familiar with it, I mean, in this case, this man had a 2024 Toyota Tundra, which is a newer model, and I hear a lot of good things. And this may be a 1% or an isolated case for this Tundra. But when it comes to 2022, remember the history? In 2021, it was the big days of COVID. A lot of supply chain was shutting down. There were not enough parts. There were not enough companies making parts. People were not going to work. People were staying home. And car companies didn't know what to do. It was very difficult to organize your supply from the other parts of the world all the way to where your plant is. One of the big lessons that car companies learned in COVID is to localize your production as much as possible. If your plant is here, you want other factories, other plants that build, make parts for your car company to be also around it, so you are God forbid there is another COVID or there is another situation like that, you're not constrained by the supply. So what I read online is what happened in 2022. Maybe this will probably apply to other car companies too. I don't know. So be careful when you're looking for 2022 vehicles. At least have it really well inspected. So what was happening is that they probably, this is just my assumption, personal assumption, and I would like to know what you think about this assumption. They were probably having hard time to finding parts from their traditional suppliers that are reliable, tested over time, and they would try to find parts from wherever possible. I remember this was somewhat the case of Tesla, because I was covering a lot of Tesla news in those days, and I remember they were trying to part supplies from here and there. And now when you get parts for your vehicle from companies that are new in the business, they're not very much tested, the quality may suffer. Quality may be compromised somehow. Do you think this makes sense? And therefore, we hear a lot of these malfunction-related stories about Toyota Tundra trucks that are coming from 2022. Because I have another story coming after this report about the 2022 model. This story that I learned about frustrated new Toyota Tundra owner who says his 2024 Tundra has a blown engine at 7,000 miles and asks if he should fight for replacement versus a replacement of truck versus replacement or repair of the engine. This was a case with 2024 Tundra. But then I will have a little bit later another story about a 2022 Tundra, which had another similar issue, and I would like to consider that. So what do you think? What would you advise his man? You bought a truck. You want to enjoy it for the next 10, 15 years. It's brand new, 2024. And then at 7,000 miles, things happen. Your engine blows. You take it to dealership. Do you expect the car to be replaced or the engine? You heard good cases in this report. I would like to hear what you think. God bless you, everyone. This is Armen Harian from TalkNews.com. If you like this story, please give us thumbs up. Share in social media, maybe in Toyota Tundra owners, groups and forums, and see what guy says. I'll see you soon in our next report.